All right. God was about to say good afternoon, everybody. Hey, LinkedIn. Good evening. Dave Wilson of the Ring of Hire Show. Hey, listen, we got some great guests tonight. Joanna's in the house. How you doing, Joanna?
Hey, what's up, Dave? How's everything?
Not much. We're gonna be ready to introduce a great guest that we have here. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm
All
ready.
right. So we're gonna put this video on, everybody. We'll be right back as soon as I find it. Here we go. You gotta love that, Heather.
I do.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know how I can get introed after that.
I know, right? It's always going. All right, Joanna, we're gonna start right out. It's your guest, and I want you to introduce Heather, and let's go.
Okay, Heather. This is Heather. Heather is Heather Gidusko. She wrote a book called Girl with a Game Plan, and I'm super excited to have her on. Heather, how are you today?
I am doing, I'm going to say, so amazing. However, I'm also going to be very real with you. I'm battling a little bit of a cold, so I do have my tea here in my Supermom mug.
Okay. So you don't even sound like you have a cold. So don't,
Okay.
and you don't even look like you have a cold. So you're all
I
good.
saw it on Facebook, Joanna. She was drinking have
Yeah.
chicken noodle soup.
My homemade chicken noodle soup. Did you see that goodness in there? Spinach,
Yes, I did.
avocado, carrots.
Oh, wow.
Saw it all.
Delicious, healthy, very good.
Right.
Let's dive in. Let's dive into your book, what the show's about.
Let's do it.
I would like to ask, what inspired you? What inspired you to write this book?
Yeah, that is one big loaded question. So we'll just spend the rest of the time talking about that.
Go ahead.
So it's funny. Before we started going on air, we were talking about about people writing books, and I do believe that each one of us has a book inside of us, whether it's just simply about our own life and our own family, or it's all of our stories. And that's what's so beautiful. We all have our own stories of trials, of tribulation, of adversity. And being in the fitness industry, the wellness industry, I'm also a health and physical educator way back when I earned my degree. So having that teacher inside of me, having that wellness passion to help others, after the 2020, the crazy year of 2020, I somewhat lost myself. My mojo was drained out, my sizzle was fizzled, and I was simply a shadow of myself. So, I'm sure we all have different levels of adversity that we experienced in 2020. Correct? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think everybody.
Well, that's what I just want to say. That when my girlfriend who gave me this book, I took it. I was sitting in my car. I said, "Let me just start reading this." And the reason why I had reached out to you was because when I started to read this book, I started to get a feeling to cry because it touched me, because it's where I am. And I think a lot of us are like sometimes trying to figure out what it is, what's our purpose, what we're supposed to be doing. So it touched me. And that's when I was like, I'm reaching out to this lady, and I'm going to ask her if I could, have you on the show, because I think that there's a lot of other people out there that would benefit from reading this, because you're not alone, number one. Number two, you have amazing guidance in here to get people to really think about where it is that they want to go and how to get there. So you have an amazing step-by-step.
Yes. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So what had happened was 2020, right? The world shuts down. I have 3 children. Hooray. And my oldest was a 2020 senior in high school. And that was very, very upsetting from a mom's point of view, to lose all of those huge milestones for her, in addition trying to be there emotionally for her. And then I had this beautiful gym community, and it wasn't just a gym that I owned. It was like a sisterhood, family, amazing group of women, and was ordered by the state. You have to close your gym. So
that's right. That's right.
yeah. So here I am trying to help my daughter. And then of course my son was a junior in high school at the time too. So he was going through his things. My youngest was a fourth grader. So she was fine, thank goodness. But myself, I was trying to show up for my older kids. I was showing up on the daily for my gym community. So on Facebook, these videos still exist on my Sweat Like a Girl page, because that was my gym. And I did live videos every single day at 10:30. And they sometimes would last like an hour and a half, because we were all home, right? So it was just, I was doing like stair workouts. We would fill up backpacks full of like food and like use that as our weights. We would like do bang pots and pans.
That's awesome.
It was craziness. And then through all of that, I would also like share the raw, crazy emotions that we were all going through. So it was just in it. And then when it came time to come out of that pandemic, got back to my gym. My daughter was now in college and she was fully masked. And it was just such a weird world of fear and anger and hate just circulating the world. And I am not all about, I'm about love and light and, just acceptance. Let's all just do what we feel we need to do. Right. So it was just trying to find my way back into this world that just didn't seem right anymore. And I had talked myself into closing my gym. And I talk about it in the book. I let the opponent in me, my fears, my doubt, my disbelief that this is probably the best thing for me to do. So ended up closing a huge part of my life, and spent the year after that kind of just figuring out who I was outside of that gym. And I now had 2 kids in college. So for any parents out there, when your kids get to that point, I talk about it like this is called the ring of hire. It's kind of like getting laid off, like almost you're fired, and it's not wanted. Like you don't want, it's bittersweet, right?
So was there a book in the process there while you were thinking about that, or this came right after the
So
gym?
it was, so the idea of the book is called Game Plan, right? Girl with a Game Plan. I'm the girl. It's a game plan. And it's all around the idea of being a cheerleader, fighting that opponent in your head, being your own biggest fan.
I love it.
Being that referee for yourself and having a game plan, because I didn't have a game plan when all of this went down and I put myself on the bench, right? If anybody's played athletics out there, sitting on the bench is not very fun, right? You like to get into the game and play. So I was sitting on that bench for that year, and I just got that nudge, from God, from the universe, from the spirit world, whatever it is that you find that it is. I got that nudge and really just leaned into it and said, I'm going to do this. And as soon as I did that, I felt like my whole being kind of light up again. And I knew that's what I'm supposed to do. So I did it. And here I am.
And there you are.
Awesome. And that's something that you just said. James, thank you. Great conversation. Thank you.
There you go, Joanne. Mike said, thank God you're back.
I like what you just brought up. You have the pom-poms and you're your own fan. And what page was that on? You have a bunch of, you used, oh my God, what page is it on? Let me find it. Is it 40? It's where you have your own fan. You have it step by step.
Yes.
Fan.
Yes. So what it is, so basically when we have a game plan, right? I take you through the off season and a preseason and a competition season.
So I want to just tell Dave really quick. She had it set up as if it's like how you in sports. She basically used that as for your own self. Like I just want to find the page.
Yeah.
Go ahead and explain.
Yeah. So the off season is just like, right now the Philadelphia Eagles, unfortunately, they're in their off season. They didn't make it to the Super Bowl, right? They're in their off season. And what do you do in the off season? You take time to become aware. What are you doing? Where are you now? Why are you here? And you do it in a non-judgmental, accepting way. And that's a really big part of the beginning of this book is finding that love within yourself and finding that faith that you can continue moving forward no matter what has put you on the bench, no matter where you are. So whether you're 100 pounds overweight, whether you just had knee surgery, whether you're having a head cold and you're on a podcast, whatever it is, you accept it and say, okay, this is where I'm at. And now how can I move forward? And that's in the preseason, where we take those roles of the player, the cheerleader, the fan, the opponent, the trainers, and the referee, and the coaches, and we make a star action. And those star actions culminates into your competition, where you're taking all of those actions and you're saying, let's do this. So it's not just a book that you read and you put on the shelf. It culminates in a game plan, an actual planner. So you're doing it.
That's exactly.
Do you find that it helps, Heather, when you wrote this, do you find it's something you use in your own life? I mean,
oh yeah, I do use it. Yeah, this is my book. It has writing all in it. This is me writing in my book.
So who helped you with this? Who helped? Did anybody help you? Did you come up with this on your own? God, okay. No, but look how I want to. It's awesome. She has the player, she has the fan, the cheerleader, the opponent, the coach, the trainer. So you're the player, you're the fan, you're your own cheerleader, opponent, your own coach, and your own trainer. So it's used sports. Did you think of that on your own?
Yeah. So it's, and that was like that. To me, it was like, I actually searched the internet. I'm like, somebody had to think of this already, right? Because like in this day and age, like you feel like everything's been thought of. And I was like, somebody has had to think of this. This is like, makes so much sense to me. Because, years of training, like I would always, in the middle of getting people to do burpees or push-ups, be like, come on, let's go. You got to be your own biggest fan. Let's go, work harder, cheer yourself on. So it was like all of these things. I was an athlete. I was a field hockey player. I was a cheerleader, both in high school and for the NFL. I was also a coach for my kids, so I had all of these different roles within me. And it just made so much sense that if we can live our life with all these different parts. And who doesn't love going to a big game? Like, what if we could wake up every single day excited to wake up because we're starting something really exciting, another day in the life of us.
So that was you were cheerleader in the Philadelphia Eagles, right?
Yes.
See, look at that. Look at that.
Long time ago, back when it was.
I saw that on one of your shows. You were talking about it, and that's got to be something where when you look back at something like that. But I guess that does help you. Even when we bring on different guests all the time, and it's the same thing. Like, what made you write the book? It had to have been something from your past or something. I mean, something that you're good at, right? I mean, that's where it comes from.
Yeah, you know what? I think I guess I could make this reasoning that I just do things, right? Because I didn't know how to be a Philadelphia Eagles cheerleader before I went to try it. I didn't know how to open a gym and run a gym before I did it. I didn't know how to write a book before I did it. And that's a big shout out to all the listeners, is you don't have to know how to do something. You don't have to go for that job interview. You don't, and know what they're going to ask you. You just go and you experience it, because you know what? That's how we learn. That's how we grow. And through the book, what I call it is you're gaining this superstar mindset, right? So as a superstar, it's superstar from Benchwarmers superstar in 8 weeks. Right. It's that superstar mindset. Like I said, we start the book with having that love and faith. We build that strength through the daily fitness, daily fuel, daily star actions, your morning warm up, your evening cool down. And then we build the resilience of not having great days all the time, because guess what? Life is hard. And if we all realize life is hard, we're going to have those knee surgeries. We're going to have those global pandemics. We're going to have things that get in our way. But if we can look at what we can control, we can continue to move forward while playing all of those different roles for ourselves.
Well, the key thing that you said, well, before I get to it, I like what Mike wrote: without faith, you have nothing, and need to keep digging when you think you can't dig no more, and never give up. That's right. Because once you give up, then you won't succeed. It's someone who is consistent who succeeds. But I love what you said something before that's key about doing something that you don't know how to do. And that's people getting out of their comfort zone. Fear is what keeps people. So getting out of your comfort zone, the fear, which is a curse word, those two things alone is what prevents like 95% of people. And I feel like your book kind of guides them into a little small path to slowly getting away from that fear.
Yes.
Because it's being broken down. It's not overwhelming. So I think that your book helps with that.
Absolutely. You know, I've worked with hundreds, thousands of women, and so many of us have this guard up of letting our true self out and being our true authentic self because we feel like we have to protect ourselves or we're comparing ourselves.
Worried what people will say.
And if we can just start to let it go, and again, it comes back, as corny as it sounds, it comes back to that self-love. If you are working on yourself, on your own personal growth, you're going to be so much stronger that you're going to be able to deal and handle all of those other toxic people around you. Yeah. And sometimes they're your family, right? Sometimes family can be really intense too. But instead of what I'm trying to do in this book too is really, you know, I felt like it was my duty, and I just said the word duty, right. But it was my duty to help change the world, right? By kindness. If we can start with kindness for ourselves, if you can be kind to yourself, you can be kind to anyone else. And let's start right here in your own house, right? In your own body. And one of the big things I want to mention now too is the player passion. Like the player is the first role I talk about. And it is a wellness book, but I purposely make that passion, that player passion, it can't be wellness related. It has to be something that is bigger than yourself. It can't be like, well, my player goal is to lose 100 pounds. Well, you might want to say, let's save that, right? But let's think, what do you want to do? Have you always wanted to, you know, grow your own amazing garden? Have you ever wanted to write a book? Do you have an entrepreneurial spirit and you want to start a business? Do you want to make a reading nook for your grandkids in your basement? Like, find something that is going to light you up the way that this book lit me up. And here's the caveat. Make it so that it inspires someone else, so that when you're doing something, not just for yourself, but it's bigger than you, you're going to have so much more success in sticking with that. Because guess what? That book, it was a passion. I was excited. And then I sat down day after day. It was kind of lonely. I was second guessing myself. That opponent was in my head. And I had to have that knowingness that this isn't about me. This is not about me getting on a bestseller list or getting into bookstores. This is about, you know, someone like Joanna reading the book and really getting touched by it and feeling that life change. So what is it, you know, call to action, everyone. What is it that it's been on your heart? What is that nudge that's saying, hey, I want to try this. Just do it, right? Just do it.
Yep.
Just do it.
Right. And I have everybody, just so you know, you can go on Amazon. Here's the book again, Girl with a Game Plan. Amazon sells it. I'm sure other places too.
And Barnes and Noble. Yep.
Barnes and Nobles and everything like that. But when Joanne had talked to me about bringing on as a guest and found out you were so close, only over here in Bethlehem, you could tell, because Joanne said it helped her. You know, and I said, well, ask, what do you got to lose? And we couldn't believe when you said yes. And then we see it on the news too. We're like, all right, she's all over the place.
All over. That's right.
One of your posts today, I kind of liked. I liked about it. It says about your social media can also be a beautiful place, but it also can comparing yourself to others. And Joanne, you know what I mean by that. That has got to be something that you talk to people about, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I talk specifically about that in the coaching role that we play, right? So as the head coach of our life, we are in control of our social media feed, right? We choose what we want to view. So choose your assistant coaches wisely. You are able to put whoever you want to see on there. So on my, you know, Instagram feed, LinkedIn feed, I am seeing people that inspire me, that are on there talking about things that lift me up, giving me motivation to keep pushing a little harder. They're things that are interested in me. I also like entertainment. So yeah, there's some random, mindless, funny stuff too. And it's okay. Like, we're human. You can like some random funny stuff. But, you know, if you're going on your feed and you're finding out, like, you know, this girl, Susie Q, who lives down the street, and she's always posting pictures with her family in the tropics. And you're thinking, well, I haven't been in the tropics with my family, and I don't have a bikini like that, and this, that, and the other thing. So maybe just don't follow her for a little bit. But I promise you, the grass, I say it in my book, you know, the grass is not always greener on the other side. Typically it's not. You know, come to my yard. It has lots of brown spots and there's dog poop all over it. But, you know, I still love my yard. So love love yourself, love, again, it comes back to love what you have, and let's stop comparing. And that's something that I do struggle with still a lot, but back in college, really struggled with it, that comparison with other women.
Yeah. I think that once you really genuinely love yourself, your life will change completely, and the people that you're with. It's such a big word. People say, I love myself. Well, do you really? And then when you really start to dig in, you're like, well, you don't, if you're comparing yourself. And a lot of people do that. They think, well, that's why it's called fake book sometimes. You're looking at a picture and you automatically, like, you got to be strong-minded, I think, to have Facebook, because if you're going to allow other people to influence you and hurt you and make you feel crappy about yourself, that's not good. That's the problem you have, that you need to shut that off. And like you said, and go fix yourself, or like, be smarter, understand that it's just a picture. It's just a 1-minute thing. Who knows what's going on behind that picture, behind the scenes?
Sure. And we've all done it.
Yeah.
Like I do it too. We're at a, restaurant with family, and you're all like, okay, smile.
Yeah, right.
And then you post it.
Right. Exciting. Like, I can't wait to leave. Oh my God, I hate this family.
Right.
Before I forget her, I want to put this up here so you can talk about what you got coming up on March 1st, 6:30, 8:30. You have something called The Shine, and I'll put this on the website too, or on the comment section too, if you want to talk about that, what you're going to be doing on March 6th.
Yeah. So that is going to be the first time that I am teaching and instructing my Shine class. So Shine is my signature movement and mindset class that goes along with the book. So basically taking you on a physical movement and mindset class within about 45 minutes, and just going through all the different roles while building not just mental strength, but also physical strength. So we'll be shiny in appearance as well as glowing in our spirit.
Very good. Can you put that up again?
Yeah, let me put it on there. Yep, it's right here. Let's
read what Mike said first.
Oh, yeah.
Fear comes from low self-esteem and lack of confidence in a person's mind, which is implanted from others' negative opinion. Yeah. But I don't you think that it's about also how strong, you got to be strong-minded.
For that, you got to be.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing, the opponent, playing defense to the opponent, it's huge. It's not something that ever goes away. If you're in a competition, you're always going to have the opponents. You're always going to have to defend against something, right? So it's about having that inner strength to, again, start with a place of love. Know that you're strong so you can move forward towards your goals. So, I use the analogy when I played high school field hockey, I could be in the backfield and I could be really busy moving the ball back and forth with myself. I could even be like, playing with my teammates back here. But if I'm not moving forward towards the goal, I'm not working towards that through any opponent. So you have to move forward. You're going to face opponents, but when you're strong in your faith, you're strong in your love, and you're doing the work on the daily, you're going to have so much success. It doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect. There's certainly days that I second guess myself, even now, like right now I'm all sunshine and smiles, right? But it doesn't mean tomorrow morning I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I still have so much to do. What am I doing? I need to do this. I need to do this. Those are all those fears and opponents that I need to dodge so I can continue moving forward. And maybe I shoot and I miss. Okay, let me reassess. And that goes back to that superstar mindset of resiliency, of saying, was it a win? Was it a loss? Did I get taken out by an opponent? It's okay if I did, because I'm coming back again.
And you're coming back. Joey, you want me to put this back up for that's
yes, March 1st, 6:30 to 8:30. Where is it going to be?
That's going to be in Bethlehem, South Side at the Yoga Loft.
Oh, South Side. Okay.
Yep. And there's 2 prices. You can do the $50 and get the signed copy.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, $50 workshop signed copy, Girl with a Plan, and $40 workshop.
Yep.
All right. That is awesome when you can do stuff like that. I imagine that just rolls into the book that you talk about. The one thing I liked about even one of your posts, I'm sure it's in the book, is 5 ways you keep your moves in check. I like that post because it really, like your plan, there was 5 things: time restricted eating. Joanne's good for this. Eating quality foods. Eating has got quality foods. Yes. Keep a standard of bedtime and wait time. Stress less. I like that one. You were like stress less. And the 5th one was move. I like that. Move more.
More.
I actually wanted to ask you something in what Dave just brought up, to piggyback on that, you had a question, like, hours of sleep, whatever the day one, day two. But I had a question. Why was it important to know sitting time, standing time, um, uh, drinking intake, all that stuff? Why was
it's it's all part of what we're doing. It all culminates to be meaningful by the end of the day. So, I don't like right now I'm sitting behind my desk, but I do have a computer stand that will elevate, or I'll take my laptop out to my kitchen counter and stand, so that the more you can be standing up, it's going to be better for you, even if it's not for long periods of time, but to get up, to get back down, to move around.
Yeah, and then, I agree with that, because I don't sit down. I barely ever sit. I'm up. When I go to bed is when I sit, or if I'm not, even when I eat, I'm barely sitting. So I wanted just to see is that something good, to sit less?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And and we can't all, and here's the thing, if you have a sitting job, okay, like you can't do much about that, but what you can do is the hours that are outside that job. Can you take your dog for a walk? Right. Can you park farther away from the building? Can you take the stairs? Can you drink a lot of water, so you need to keep walking back and forth to the bathroom? So you're just working in different movements. And also, like, even if you're seated, like, just moving back and forth, just a little bit more movement in your life is just gonna get that body moving, grooving, staying a little bit more alert. Absolutely. And then, drinking water throughout the day and fluids, so good for you.
It's good for the heart. Very good for the heart.
Yeah.
I figured you would talk about the food, Joanne. I know your food bill.
Don't get me started. I know.
I know your food
bill. You know what? That was actually something I struggled with writing the book, because I mean, you go into a Barnes and Noble, you go anywhere, there's just massive amounts of nutrition, right? You go onto social media, and if you want to get the answer that keto is the right way, you'll find it. If you want to get the answer that plant-based is the right way, you're going to find it. So I thought to myself, how am I going to deal with this? Because, okay, well, what am I? I am everything and anything. I do not characterize myself as any one way of eating. What I try to do, and this is what I put in the book, is let's try to eat whole food, right? Food that is not coming from the box, food that you prepare. So, so many people are trying to just figure out the perfect way, instead of just saying, I'm just going to start to get one of those bagged salads from Wegmans that has everything in it, has some cabbage. I'm going to start to use that. And then I'm going to put some grilled chicken in with it. And that's going to be my new lunch. That one thing could be amazingly huge and start a big change in their life. So let's stop thinking that we have to have this meal plans and diets and this and that and the other thing. Yes, some of us need that, but for most of us, it's because we're eating too much fast food. It's because we're eating too much processed foods. And if we can just slowly, I talk about it as the on-ramp, right? When you're on the highway, you take the on-ramp. Let's move slowly. Let's just start where we can. So it's like, what can you take out of your diet that you're eating right now that's not benefiting you? And what could you add in? And it doesn't even have to be every day. Let's stop making it so hard for ourselves. Stop it.
It's true. Yep.
My favorite post was one where you're talking about looking yourself in the mirror, and then you were like, when you go to Target and you see yourself on the camera and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I laughed. I thought that was so funny the way you said that.
It's funny because it's true, right?
True. Oh my God, don't look. Just don't look. I have this thing.
No. Now you have to look. Now you got to be like, hey, girl.
It was funny the way you said that. I had one more on that part. So the book it could be geared towards men also. I could see that. There's not much of a difference in the way, right? Or
this isn't gender.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah. So it's an 8-week plan. So you're saying it's an 8-week plan. Is that what it is? It's going to take you every step of the way through this book.
Yes. So I would give yourself like a month, 4 weeks to go through the off season and preseason. So you get like that off season where I take you through like a week of food logging, behavior logging, and then you go through the preseason and then the competition season where it culminates in your action
look
plan.
at that. Oh, right there. Okay.
Yeah. So it's all there. I did not want to make like the planner separate. I wanted someone to get this one thing and say, I could change my life with this one book. Here's the thing. It's hard work to actually sit down and reflect, right? It's one thing to go through the book and read it and be like, oh, this is great. Wow. And I'm feeling like this. Okay. But there's a lot of women out there who've purchased the book and they haven't yet done anything. So I keep nudging them, but I knew this when I wrote it. Didn't deter me. So I put little pep talks from me in there. So I have like little thought bubbles with me around there with my foam finger to help you get through it. So I put myself in there as much as possible. I also have free pep talks that I'm on camera pep talking you to start the next chapter that you can go to in the book and go to the link and you get all the pep talks. You also have access to like locker rooms, fitness locker rooms, fuel locker rooms to help you going. In addition, I offer one-to-one MVP, most valuable person coaching, where I coach you through the book.
That's great. Awesome. I mean, they offer, there's retreats out there that you pay dollars for stuff like this.
For stuff like that.
Yes, that's my goal. That's one of my things on my burners is retreats. Yep.
Yeah.
I like how you talk about Gen X women a lot. I'm always thinking, all right, what's Gen X? What's Gen X? All these names, all these different things. And
I was just looking that up actually the day. Gen Y, I think, we're Gen X, right? Or Gen Y?
Gen X, yeah.
Gen X. Have you had a lot of people reach out to you about the book? Is that it's got to be rewarding when people like yourself, like Joanne, like it touches them. It's got to really feel good for you knowing that what you did, it could change someone's life.
It does. It absolutely does. It's very heartwarming, and it makes me feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and to keep doing it on those days where it feels like my opponents got me down because maybe, and I did that reel today saying like, my highlight reel looks really amazing. However, don't think that I'm always up here because I'm not, book sales, like as an independent self-publishing bookseller, you're not selling books off the hook, So when you do have someone like Joanna say those beautiful words, it's so meaningful. And, when someone does purchase your book, it's heartfelt, and it's truly what I think helps the world go round, right? Is those little bits of kindness. And that's how, again, we change the world. We just start to be more kind and inspire each other. So yeah, like the writing the book, getting it out there is kind of like was my step one. Step two is getting out onto stages, speaking to bigger masses, whether it's podcasts. I'm going to be on stage in March at Lady Boss. Doing the MC, being a keynote speaker. So I want to get out there and just really get people fired up, right? It's a game plan. That's what I like to do. I like to get people fired up. So get them fired up to live life like a superstar. And, when I say superstar, it's not about seeing your name in lights, right? There's a very select few of us that are going to see our name in lights. Being a superstar is about shining that light within you out for others to be inspired by. And that's what it means to be a superstar.
The hard part is keeping people fired up. Isn't that the hard part? Because it's like you let them go and their brain naturally, as days go on, allows them to talk them out of following their dreams.
Yeah. And that's where it's so important to have that curated group of assistant coaches, whether it's a podcast like The Ring of Hire, whether it is one of the people that influencers I love to follow is Ed Milet. So I listen to him weekly on his podcast. I have, I have my daily devotional here with Tim Tebow that I read every day to start my day. So I have all of these assistant coaches, and that's what more of us need to do so that when we come away from a really great motivational book, or we see that great inspiration from somebody on social media, that we can continue throughout our day feeling that fired upness and to keep it going. And that's also why, however, I am very soon going to be launching a whole very close-knit one-to-one and group winning formula coaching program that's going to
I think
involve.
you need some T-shirts made up of that, boy. I love the name of it.
Yeah.
I love the name. It's pretty funny how you have that, and I don't know. It just the pink color. It stands out, and but no, I mean, I appreciate you coming on. I can't thank you enough for that. But Joanne, I know you got another question. I know you have another one.
Well, you know what? I think that a lot of people aren't self-aware.
Yeah.
I think self-awareness is a really big key thing here. Like that's the key thing, because not being self-aware, then you don't know how to answer a lot of these questions. You don't know how to dig deep into and figuring out what your problem is, or even admitting that you're the one holding yourself back from success. So is that challenging for you with people? Like
it's because, it's one of the reasons I wrote the book, because we're also stuck in this day to day. Here's my to do: wake up, take the kids to school, go to work, come back. And, even, women, like, get my nails done, get my hair done, get my eyebrows waxed. I'm doing all of this on the outside, yet I still feel like shit every night. And I'm having my bottle of wine, and I'm doing this. And, then I'm angry at that woman down the street because she looks better in her sweatpants than I do. And it's like, let's just take a moment and find that self-awareness, and again, non-judgmental. And the only way that's going to happen is for each of us to sit back and do it. So my goal is to get in front of more people, to be that catalyst to say, it's okay. It's okay that you're not where you want to be. And it's okay that this is where we're at in life. Like, and that's a whole other thing, like, I'm 48 and I'm proud of it. I will never hide my age, because honestly, if I'm not getting older, I'm not here anymore. I want to be here as long as I can. And I want to get to heaven exhausted, right? I want to keep on
to keep living, right? It's a privilege to keep living, right? I mean, that's what to be looked at. Yes.
Yeah. So let's embrace aging. Let's not talk about anti-aging. Let's talk about pro-aging. And you know what? If you need a knee, so be it. Get the stinking knee and keep moving forward, right, Dave?
Move forward. I know, right? Jeez. But I want to put these. What's that? I know, right? Go. I'm all pumped up. I'm ready to go now. I did do something, Heather, tonight that I saw again on your social media. I was playing my music real loud before the show. Get pumped up. You were saying you got to get pumped up for your show, especially what you do. I can imagine going and being a speaker. You just can't go in there and be like low key. You got to be full of that energy. I mean, everybody will be falling asleep.
It's the same thing like when you go to the gym. Every time I go to the gym, I have, my music. And it pumps me up. It makes me lift more. It motivates me.
Yeah.
Feeling like a superstar,
Yeah. So like you go into a football game, what gets you pumped up? That band, right?
Yeah.
That
band, they get you going. So everybody, again, girl with a game plan. You gotta love it from Heather here. Also on March 1st, 6:30 to 8:30, Shine. That's a program that you set up. You want to explain that one more time?
Yeah, so it is a movement and a mindset class that goes right along with the game plan methodology. You are going to shine physically and emotionally and spiritually by the end of the class. It's going to be amazing, and all fitness levels. I've been teaching fitness for many, many years, back in the 1900s even. And so I can teach to all levels all at once. So come join. It's going to be spectacular and just a really great time.
Okay.
And how do they get a hold of you, Heather? How does somebody? We'll put it in the comments too. I'll put it on our thread.
8675309.
Is that the?
No, not that. That's not my number.
I'm like, no, I love that song.
Yeah. It's heathergidusko.com. I know, I'm pretty sure everybody can see my name on the screen, right? So it's just my name, heathergidusko.com. And then it's Heather Gidusko on Facebook, Heather Gidusko on LinkedIn, and also on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. And so I'm doing speaking engagements. I do corporate meetings as well. So reach out to me if you want me to speak at your company as well, or also do some one-on-one coaching. And I also do physical training. I do it all.
Do it all.
I do it when I'm sick too.
Joanne, get your checkbook. She's ready. She's down there with her checkbook.
These are things that people need, right? Especially right now, and especially going to a job, but people work in an office. I think that's really important. Yeah, it's very well needed. Exercise. We all lost that. We drive everywhere. We sit everywhere. I'm a big believer in working out. I work it every day. I'm into health and wellness since I was like 12 years old. So I understand exactly. And it's needed, especially today. No one knows how to eat. No one knows how to eat.
And you know what? Garbage. We need each other. We need other people. Just like this podcast is great. Like other people are tuning in. It's so good to be human and have a community. Loneliness is like one of the main causes of early death is lonely people.
Love it. Well, thank you so much, Heather, Joanne. And we're going to talk right after this. I'm going to put the video on, everybody. And there she goes. She is ready. Heather's ready to go.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Heather. All right. We're going to talk right after this. Thank you. We'll talk right after.